Hello. Today we're going to be sanding down and revarnishing a table. This is an Ercol table which you might buy at auction for only a few pounds, maybe a few tens of pounds, but you can sand it down, varnish it up, and it will be good as new. And a new one will probably cost you about £3,000, so it's certainly worth considering. So what we've got is got an orbital sander, which is very good, and I'll just show you the different types of sandpaper that the sander, this is actually a new sander, the sandpaper, there's P60, which is one of the rougher, the lower the number, the rougher the sandpaper you'll be using. And if I was you, I'd turn the volume up on your television because I haven't got the full film crew here today because we're in lockdown, so you can, if you turn your volume up, you might be able to hear me a bit better. Then we go on to a P80, which is slightly rougher again, and then this is the P120, which is what we would call a fine sandpaper, sort of finishing paper, which is the later one in the project you'd use. Today I'll probably actually use P120 because I've started using that and it actually seems to work quite well. These are the sandpapers that come with the sanding machine. The sanding machine is brilliant, but the sandpapers that come with it sadly are very thin and they do break very easily. So what I tend to do is I tend to make my own sanding sheets off a roll similar to this, probably with a green sandpaper. This is P120, which seem to work fine to get the varnish off this table. And so what I do is I just cut them to the appropriate size, so using one of the ones that came with the machine as a template, cut them to size, and then what I do is I put them onto the machine. It's quite difficult to see this because without the cameraman in operation you can't see very clearly what happens, but you lift these little clips up and that opens up the this little bit of metal at the front here, and you allows you to take off the old sheet. Similarly on the other side you pull the clip up and then that just drops out, and then with the new sheet, bird knock on it, you pop that into there and then you pull. You can see that clip not very easily. You pull the little bar up at the side, a bit fiddly, and then that will then clip the paper into position. Then we do the same on the other side, trying to get the paper as square as possible. Pull it in tight, and there, and make sure you get it a bit fiddly, as I say. Get it under the spring, and then as you close that spring up and then click it into place, that will then hold it in position. And as this has got a clever little dust box on the back, it comes with a perforator to perforate the sheets that come without the holes in. You can buy them with the holes ready in, but this is probably a more cost-effective way of using perhaps better quality paper. Basically what I'm doing there is to put the plastic perforator under the sander, and then basically that has now perforated the sandpaper. So the idea being is that the little perforations will allow the sawdust or the fine sandings to go into the machine, being vacuumed up and ending up in the little dust bag at the back. As you see, this is a little bit of a fiddle, but it will come good in the end. So see, there we are. Bit of a fiddle, but anyway, there it is, and you've got your holes punched in the bottom of your thing. And so then the idea is that the dust from the sanding will go in through those holes and then end up in the little container here at the back. So what we're going to do next is, I've already started this, but The rest of the table was in far worse condition than this. This didn't look too bad, but it got very marked and scratched and very stained with glass stains, etc. So now we're going to take this back to bare wood again and put a hard glaze varnish, like Ronsil hard glaze interior varnish on that, a couple of coats, and then it'll be much easier to keep it clean against heat and damage from glasses and that sort of thing. Some things I put onto natural wood I would put like beeswax, but the only trouble with this is that I think with the beeswax, if you put a wine glass on it or something hot, it's probably going to get stained and ringed. So I think the hard glaze, probably for our household, is probably better. A bit of a noise now, but the main thing is to sand in the direction of the grain. Just follow the grain. See the grain is running from my right and goes across there like that. Probably would have been a good time to tell you to turn your volume down. But anyway, so you go on like that for a few minutes until it comes down to this sort of surface here, which pulls all the grain up nice and flat. Finish off. Carry on like that till it gets to this sort of standard. And then what I do is I use just ordinary water, and then what I do is I wash off the remaining sawdust from the top of the table, and as you see, that brings the grain back up again, which has been hidden by the water. And then I let that dry off, and then I'd probably maybe give it another light sand again, and then once again I wash it again with water and let that dry thoroughly before I put on 2 coats of the Ronsil hard glaze. But as you see, it just brings up very nice, a very lovely grain from the Ercol, the old Ercol table, and that is a similar effect to what you're going to get once you put the varnish on. It'll be a bit more glossy because this is a glossy varnish, I think. That's what you'll end up with. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and I hope you've been able to turn the volume up enough at the appropriate times to be able to hear vaguely what I'm saying. Thank you. Now we're going to wash the dust off the table, let it dry. Make sure you do the little groovy bits and the dry bits. Fortunate to be able to do this outside on a nice sunny day. I think as this is quite a long-established table for a good hardwood table, I should probably maybe just give it a tiny little light sand after it's dried off. The grain seems pretty flat, which is good, which is what we want. And that just shows off all the grain onto the wood. out regularly. Even. Thank you. Right, we've now moved indoors. New shirt, hope you appreciate it. It's a lovely lolly shirt. As you can see, this is the finished article now. Basically what we did, when we sanded down the top of the table, we then washed that with just ordinary clean tap water, allowed it to dry, then we sanded it, just a light sand over again, once again washed it over with clear water, allowed it to dry again, and then we've applied, or I have applied 2 coats of Ronseal hard glaze interior varnish, and as you can see it's brought up the grain and it looks, to my way of thinking, lovely now. So it's restored a table which is probably about 60 or so years old to at least near to its former glory, and rather than having to pay £3,000 for an Ercol table and chairs now, it's probably cost probably £100 or so. So always go to the auctions and have a look and see what you can find. Thank you very much indeed for listening, and I hope you'll found this useful and it may encourage you to take on your own projects. So thank you very much.